KBON is always Louisiana proud. And man, I have to say I am very proud to introduce my very first artist here in studio. He is an incredible talent. He's a Port Barre boy. He's a singer, a songwriter, a multi-instrumentalist. I won't give it away too much. I'm going to let you talk and tell us all about who you are. But we have the amazing Mr. Lance DuBroc in studios, ladies and gentlemen. Y'all give it up for my... Oh, look. You got some claps.
Thanks for having
Those aren't
me
canned claps either. We have some folks in here, right?
Live studio audience.
Live studio audience. I love it. How are you doing, Mr. Lance?
I'm doing excellent. You are wearing this hat. Awesome. I love what you're doing.
I'm trying, man. I'm trying to do what we do.
For sure. Well,
mic check 1 2. Mr. Lance DuBroc in studio. Tell us a little bit about yourself, sir.
Oh, okay. I'm 40 years old. I'm from Port Barre, Louisiana, and I've been traveling around the country a good bit this year. Spreading the good word of our people,
I love that.
out into the world, just trying to put some good positive energy into the world. The name of the tour was Wonder Love.
Wonder
so I got
Love.
to, I got to go around the country, write some songs with a whole bunch of people, share some good moments, and make some music.
I love that.
Make some friends. It's been a really fun time.
It sounds like it. I've been watching you for probably about a year now. You've actually been touring all over, right? All over the United States, collaborating and writing. But your Wonder Love tour started back in June.
It was in June.
June, yes.
June to August.
That's incredible. So what have you noticed by going outside of Louisiana? What have you brought to the rest of the world, and what have you taken in?
You know what I've noticed, that we a bunch of food snobs.
Are we?
Oh yeah. Whenever we go other places, we talk smack on other people's food a lot.
Yeah.
It's true, and for good reason.
Yeah, that's true.
For sure.
What's the saying? You can't eat everybody's gumbo. Like, we are very serious about our food. So,
that's right.
You got to come with it if you're going to make anything that's Louisiana. So I have a question for you. What started all of this? Like, what's your musical background?
Well, I've been playing music since my dad was a player. Okay, my dad was a full-time. He played guitar, and he's a hell of a singer. And he played for all the swamp pop greats, the Johnny Allens, and he played for Gigi Shin for years.
Tell us his name.
His name's Mike DuBroc.
Mike.
Yeah,
DuBroc.
He played excellent vocalist. But big guy. You've heard Dad quite a few times, man. Dude gets down.
So were you a little kid kind of sitting at your dad's feet watching him?
Yeah, I always kind of knew. Well, what happened is my next door neighbor went to his dad's for the summer, got a guitar, came back, and so my dad started teaching some stuff. I was like, hold on, it's my dad.
Yeah.
So he's gonna teach me.
Oh, so you were kind of like, taking.
Yeah. All of a sudden, I got interested.
Taking interest because Daddy was paying attention to somebody else.
And I soaked it up pretty. I soaked it up pretty fast. I'd always had harmony, like at Thanksgiving, 3/4 harmonies. I have a Uncle Wayne and an Aunt Karen, and there's 3/4 harmonies happening. A lot of good old Merle Haggard, a lot of Southern gospel stuff.
So it seems like you really pay attention to the lyrics. Like, is that how it started? You always listen to the story?
No, I didn't really get into the lyrics until later on in my life.
Okay.
I really enjoyed the feeling of music and performing, and I guess from time to time lyrics would capture me, but it was never a big deal to me.
Gotcha.
I didn't develop an appreciation for it till later on in life. I'm really grateful that I get to go back and rediscover a whole bunch of songs that I knew all my life and
flew away.
Yeah. So I don't have a normal approach.
What was the moment that brought that songwriting bug, if you will? When did you decide you wanted to be a songwriter?
Well, I don't know. It just kind of happened. I kind of put myself in a bad position one time. I had a friend of mine. They had a show, an event going on, and they were like, and I told them, I'm writing a song about it. As a matter of fact, just kind of in a grandiose sort of way. I'm writing a song. I'm gonna debut that song over there, and I talked to Smack about it, and a couple of people held me to it, and there it was like 3 or 4 hours before the show, and I didn't have a song, nothing. So man, I sat down. I was like, oh, you can't do this.
Right.
I sat down and I let it flow. Sat down on the piano and I, one after the other, like a pretty complex tune with a fair amount of lyrics to it. And it happened. Went performed that night. I really told myself, like, wow, you can really create. Not only I've been performing for years, I've been singing for years, and I've been I had all these tools in my toolbox, all these different colors to paint with. I just wasn't painting.
Right.
I was a cover artist. I was making money doing it, selling my souls in casinos. And
so is that what you were doing for a long time? Performing other people's music.
That's right.
Gotcha. So were you on Bourbon Street? Where were you performing?
I did a nice long stint on Bourbon Street around 2004, I guess, until 2010, on and off.
What was it like while you were there?
So I got to experience Bourbon Street before Katrina. So, yeah. So
different energy.
Yeah, much different energy, much more authenticity of the players, the core group of musicians that were down there. They were old school guys who were connected to the old school before then. It was like a generational thing of craftsmen, of musicians. Who had been working that street for years.
Okay. Just in time, coming up right now. That was the Pine Leaf Boys with the Pine Leaf Boogie. And we are boogieing here in studio tonight, you guys. I am sitting in with Mr. Lance DuBroc, and he is sharing his expertise and his love for music. He was just telling us how he was a performer out in New Orleans on Bourbon Street, and he did that for some years. And now he is doing a lot of songwriters festivals. Is that correct, Lance? You've been out on the songwriter circuit?
I have been. I've been out on the
Tell us about that.
For a bit across the South.
Yeah, what is that like?
Well, pretty much what happens is, anywhere from a dozen to 100 songwriters convene upon a town, and they play original music in different venues all across these cities, and it's a pretty unique experience. And you have some hit songwriters, people who've written some of the classics.
And
it's been pretty crazy to go in there and get to hang out with some of these amazing creatives, learn from them, share with them, see the process of a song creation from different people from beginning to end. I make it a point when I go out there to write with other people, to try to learn
so
as
you're
much as I possibly
collaborating.
can.
Okay.
Yeah,
Can you tell us about that? Like, how do you collaborate with other artists on these songwriter festivals?
Well, since I've been a performer for years, so I've got a voice that I have some soul to me, and I already have a character.
So that grabs their attention because you have a very, very distinct voice.
Okay.
And what would you call your style? What would you say is your style of music and performing?
I'm just me.
It's soulful to me.
I'm just me, but it's soulful. It's got tinges of country in it too. It's got tinges of some angry classic rock, at times too. There's some dirty Lou Rawls. Sometimes there's lots
some
of
that
old
good
R&B.
classic,
There's tons of elements in I listen to a whole lot of music.
Can tell, and so that grabs the songwriter. So take us through that process. Your absolute talent
it's
grabs their attention.
Yeah, it's definitely opened up some doors for me.
Gotcha.
It allows me to at least have an open dialogue with them, and then if we seal the deal, we end up writing together. We get along, and we want to create together and see if we can move a song, maybe move it in the industry a little bit, see if they can sell it to somebody else, try to find sync licenses to put it together with movies, commercials, stuff like that.
So you mentioned sync licensing and all the business aspect. Where did you even learn about? Were you reading books? How did you learn about doing the business side of music?
The first time I actually took a class during the Songs in the Bayou Songwriters Festival down in Morgan City.
So it's an educational thing too. Like you go there to actually learn.
100%. There's industry professionals everywhere. So Morgan City. So they have sponsored by Dat Sauce, who is also my friend Mr. Scott Green is the owner of Dat Sauce. He also he operates the Green Community Foundation down there. So he gives back to the local community.
Nice.
awesome cat. He's an absolute swamp druid. You know,
Yes.
takes care of the land down there, and he's a hunter and a businessman, and awesome cat. Anyway, he sponsors the Songwriter Festival. All of these different communities have somebody that sponsors it, spearheads it, right? Mr. Green spearheads that one down in Morgan City, and they brought in a bunch of people, people from different parts of the industry that talk to you about publishing and all this fun, boring stuff. How bad you're getting screwed by certain people, stuff like Spotify. And all this.
It's easy to get taken advantage of if you don't know what you're doing.
It's very easy to get taken advantage of, but it's good to be able to be used, because if you can't be used, it means you're useless.
Oh, okay.
You know
All
what I'm
right.
saying?
Look, he's dropping knowledge on us, ladies and gentlemen. I love it. That's great.
Yeah. So you go out there, you get to learn how to value things and value your product, and see where you stand against other artists too. That it's people who are actually created a product, and are selling their product out there and able to make things happen.
So have you learned that your material stacks up when you are collaborating with other people? Like, did you have that aha moment, like, hey, I'm pretty good?
Well, look, I've always done well in cover band situations, or get together jam sessions. Anytime I get around other players, I've always been able to hold my own at the very least, and shine frequently, and but I went over there, and other people created their own stuff, and it was there's a humility I never experienced before, because each of these individual people have written these songs for their own voice, these are absolute craftsmen, who use lyric and note to kind of bring you on a journey, to sometimes tell a story, sometimes make you sad, sometimes make you laugh.
So there's a formula, basically.
I'm not gonna say there's a formula, but there's definitely a road, to make people feel. Yeah.
Gotcha. Lance and I actually performed or worked together at a songwriters festival here in Lafayette. And one thing that struck my attention or caught my eye was how professional everybody was. And they looked at it as a job, And for me, I've always written songs since I was a kid. It was always something I did as kind of playtime, if you will. It was like more of a hobby. So if I got inspired, I wrote. If not, then I didn't, But they saw it as, this is the objective. We're going to write a song, in 2 hours. In some instances, it was very structured like that.
Well, there's an industry in Nashville.
Wow.
There's people
and that's how they're
multiple
creating
businesses who support this model, who have songwriters on staff. I mean, the heyday of this industry is gone by the wayside. But back in the day, you hear stories all the way from the 60s all the way to the early 2000s, where these companies on Music Row staffed writers in there, and they would show up every day, and they had all these different creative rooms for them to go in and write in. They go in and write every day. They bring in other co-writers. They help fresh ideas. Bring in artists that are on the up and up that want to do a co-write, and that artist records that song and he makes a hit out of it. So you have a co-write, and everybody gets paid in the time machine. The whole machine is greased.
Does that take the emotion out of it by seeing it almost like a 9 to 5?
You tell me. They've been the hits you've been listening to since you were
really?
a kid.
See, I wouldn't have been able to tell, the difference.
I mean, not all of them. That's really foolish
but
to
I
say.
understand what you're saying. But a
lot
of
large
them,
portion of what we consume has come from that middle.
From that type of format, basically.
Yeah.
Wow, that's incredible.
Top of the morning, Bob.
Very
Top of the morning, Jim. They walk in, sit down, get their coffee.
And get ready.
Yeah, sit down at their desk and pull out their guitar, their piano, and get to create. The boss will need some new material.
Yeah.
By Tuesday.
Right.
To present. That's a lot of pressure.
That just seems rigid. Yeah, to me. I think I might crumble under that kind of situation. But how do you build the relationships with songwriters? You mentioned, so you get together, you network with a songwriter, decide, hey, let's try to make some magic here. But when you actually sit in the room with them, like, how do you move a song along? Like, how do you create something with maybe even sometimes people you've just met or don't know very well?
Yeah, I've got a good metaphor from, as this old Cajun man I knew from around Jennings, and he would take old pieces of driftwood or a piece of wood, and he would carve them into certain things. And I remember he was saying that each piece told him what it was.
Really?
You know, like how do you figure out what you're gonna do? You sit, and he's like, no, if you kind of mess around with a piece of wood, and the way the grain is shaped, or where the knots are, it tells you what it's gonna be, right?
Yeah.
I kind of try to approach it the same type of way. Every situation is gonna be different. We get in with another creative, and we both have an idea to write a song, and we talk about each other. We you know, I'm a musical person. I have a whole bunch of levels to my voice whenever I talk.
Yeah.
So do you. So whenever we get animated, you know, we have these subconscious things that happen in our brains whenever we communicate with each other. And you just kind of get that role. And I've been using these hands to make music on instruments all my life.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, pianos, guitars, whatever.
That's
so
beautiful.
we can make some stuff together. We could, if we have intent, we can create. And
wow.
you know, if you let that ego stay outside of the room, sometimes a little ego's healthy though. You know, if I'm not lying, but you know, let that ego stay out of the room, and you get in there and you you know, get work done. You start carving away that piece of wood. See, is it gonna be a duck? Are you gonna have a
right. So, do you write on your guitar? Is that what you use as a?
Both. This is a lot easier because it's more portable. You know. But yeah, if the piano's around, it's always a nice. That's a treat to be able to write on for sure.
Gotcha. So for me, that always surprised me, because for me, having in the early parts, I wasn't a musician, so songs would just come to me. I would hear the melody. I would hear already in my head. So when I started writing with other people and they pull out a piano or a guitar, I was like, what you need that for? Because I just heard it in my mind, but I see that it's a beautiful tool and it's very useful. So you just maybe strum some music and create from that, or do you have a song idea already and you build the music around the song? Like,
yeah, but it's probably
it just depends.
A lot less inspirational than that, and but sometimes a little more scientifical.
Really? Okay.
Okay. Scientific, I should say. You know, the music, just like any other craft, has an approach and has some basic rules to follow. And you know, whenever you break those rules, whenever you have art.
Do you break the rules often in your songwriting?
Yeah, you have to.
Gotcha.
You know?
Okay.
You know,
do you want to share something with us? Is there something that you'd like to play? I heard you playing a little bit.
Yeah, I got one. So I wrote this one down in Perdido Key, Florida, right outside of right by Floribama. And I got to meet this guy named Mark Sherrill. Now, Mark Sherrill is a songwriting legend. He wrote O Red for Blake Shelton. You know, which is like one of the hugest hits from the 2000s. And he just his songwriting family. His cousin wrote "Stand By Your Man" for Tammy Wynette. You know, like this is an iconic tune. It was
incredible.
Created the entire Nashville revival in the '70s. He was like Charlie Rich's producer. This guy just.
And it sounds like you know your history as well. Like.
Oh, it's important to me to know.
Yes, it's your business to know it.
It is my business to know. And you know, my dad used to quote my mom with a Charlie Rich back in the day.
So okay.
I heard those stories a lot too. Yeah. So I actually brought the Dixieland tune to Mark, and we get together to write, and he changed it to this. Is what we got. We've had so many rainy days. Seems like a flood of tears has washed some love away. Things won't always be this blue. I can see some sunlight shining through. So bring on the sunny days, chase these dark clouds away. Feel that warm sunshine on my face. 'Cause my world's been dark and gray. Send down those warming rays. We all could use more sunny days. Whoa. When that sun is shining so oh, bring on the sunny day. Keep these dark clouds at bay. Feel that warm sunshine on my face. Ooh.